not going to be in the video anymore. And I had a little divine assistance. Lightning struck our television antenna twice that year, so that distraction wasn't there to interrupt me. And I read The Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings trilogy twice that summer. Wow. And I didn't, my favorite part of the book, and maybe see the movie, was where Gandalf and the hobbits and the dwarves are running through the caverns of the mountains, and they're being chased by this fire and darkness demon and the orcs and the goblins, and they cross this narrow stone bridge across a canyon into the abyss, and Gandalf turns around and faces the demon and says, "You shall not pass!" And the bridge collapses and the demons fall into the abyss, but the last second he cracks a whip and he catches Gandalf by the legs and pulls him down with him, and they battle all the way through the earth. And Gandalf the Grey came out to the side of Gandalf the White with more power and wisdom. And not until recently have I realized that that story had an effect on me. When I went back to school, they wanted to put me in remedial classes, and I said no. And, it was hard. When I graduated, I wasn't sure if I was going to get a diploma or a certificate of attendance, but I did. And, I'd had to use that same kind of resolve, in the boxing ring and getting into SEAL training twice. And, I was 48 years old, and I took a job as an anti-piracy security agent in the Indian Ocean. And I was with 3 other Navy SEALs, but they were like between 28 and 32. They were a lot younger than me. And on the way out there, we kind of sat around, and religion came up. And one of them said he's an atheist, the other one's an agnostic, the other one's going to practice his Native American faith. And I just go, you guys are young. You'll figure it out. Well, they hated me after that. And I didn't really catch on what was going on until another buddy of mine that was a Christian went out there, the same thing happened to him. And then I got into the drone business, and I had a business partner who, a big guy, ex-cop, attorney, and he was a devout atheist. And we drove all over the country, and we had this debate, and it's almost the same story every time. He'd go, "So, where are the aliens?" Well, that would be Exodus and Ezekiel. And the conversation would have changed to Mercedes-Benz automobiles, barbecue restaurants, and buffets. But one day, we came to the valley, and he determined that he was going to win this argument. And he demanded that I prove to him that God exists. And I just told him, well, I think it'd be hard to prove that he doesn't. But I don't have to prove anything. There was an attorney that was decided that he was going to prove that God didn't exist. And he wrote a book, and he came to his faith, and it's called Case for Christ. You need to read that. About 2 days later, he told me that he was done. He wanted to be in business with me anymore, and he moved back to Atlanta. He was his family, dropped me off at an apartment in McAllen. I went to a Toastmasters meeting. In my speech, I mentioned my Christian faith, and I met my wife Janice, and the rest is history. What I want to instill with these boys that I do with Trail Life is to, be an example for them, be a grown man that is okay with having faith in the Lord. And maybe, down the road, when they run into some resistance like that, they can think back on this guy. And that, that had resolve with his faith and wasn't afraid to talk about it. Don't hide your light under a basket. There are people out there that they think they're all by themselves. They think they're the only ones carrying this burden. And if you don't speak up, they're not going to know you're there with them. And then there may be somebody who's your witness can turn them. But be able to stand on it. And that's what I'm talking about.